Hello and welcome back once again here to the DreamHack Pro Circuit live from Leipzig, Germany, where we just came off a pretty big win there coming out from Triple Trouble, but things are about to get very, very juicy for them as we know that they now have to go into Dignitas, the most successful organization in all of Rocket League history. They're insanely big, a big monstrous thing, but they're on the downhill-ish kind of here with Yukio, trying to find themselves with this new roster post-KDOP.
It's still my favorite thing about Dignitas, even though we've already talked about it. It's like, they don't take first place in everything. They're on the downswing. It's so funny to me.
That's the beauty of climbing all the way to the top, is there's nowhere to go but down, right? It's the empire you build, is the outcome that eventually has to fall here for Team Dignitas, but it was in a different manner, right? This isn't like it was a slow and steady decay of a roster that goes down into forever, of 10th place, and then it's like, what are they going to do? This was a pretty quick and effective thing that it made, and Yukio goes from, kind of rookie of the year to just standing out on the biggest team that he possibly could find himself on.
But it was a surprising move that KDOP leaves Dignitas with all that success that they've had, and there was some team dynamic issues behind the scenes, it seemed like, so KDOP wanted to try something new out. But that was a big move because you're the best team in the world. Yeah, you're the best team in the world, and you're deciding to switch off. It seems questionable,
premature.
But he wanted to play with Fairy Peak. He wanted to try something new, and we haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen Vitality, so it might pay off for him. But so far for Dignitas, it's been some growing pains.
Yeah, growing pains to say the least. Yukio, again, he's a very talented player. Cookser gave him a lot of credit, of course, back when he played on Flipside. He's like, I don't know why you gave me the MVP when Yukio's over here. So we'll have to see if he can replicate that performance on Dignitas, obviously.
Before we get a little bit too far into this one here, quickly, we got to go ahead and look at what has happened through the entirety of the day, along with the rest of the matches that we have to unfold here, as it has actually not been updated. So we will get that back to you guys with some updated statistics in the near future, as we know. Back to Triple Trouble here in Dignitas. What is it, man?
That hurt.
That hurt?
Dreadnought.
What? That I baited and switched it?
It's fine. It's fine. But no, Triple Trouble, just saw them. I mean, they look good. They pounded mouse, no doubt. So can you repeat that against Dignitas? Maybe.
It's a completely different beast. That is for sure.
It is a different beast. And I think the biggest thing to point out here is, one, you have a baby mouse, and the other is an owl. That thing eats the mice on a day-to-day basis.
True.
When we're considering a predatory status, owl,
it's not even close.
Mouse.
And owls can spin their head almost 180 degrees, so they won't be able to demo them because they'll be able to see behind them.
Yeah, it looks like the Exorcist girl is wild. Yeah. It's a good time there. But no, on a more serious note there, Dignitas is still a very formidable team here with Yukio, and I want to know some of your guys' thoughts on what we've gotten from the performances with Yukio, the differences on this playtime, because this was a unit, right? This isn't just one squad, one team member, the guy we know to stand out. This was a 3 men that worked perfectly through passing and built, again, a dynasty.
So I thought Yukio was a questionable roster move when Dignitas picked him up, because they basically probably could have picked up anyone that they wanted.
Absolutely.
And they picked up Yukio, and I wasn't sure about that because they have to replace KDOP, who's like the best shooter in the world. And Dignitas, their whole game plan is to just set him up all the time, and KDOP can hit anything. Yukio, on the other hand, I feel like last season, a lot of soft shots, a lot of inaccurate shots. And I talked to Flipside, and they were like, yeah, he turns the ball over a lot. He's insanely good, but he does turn the ball over a lot. He's not the best team player necessarily, but mechanically so gifted. And I think it's going to take time. I don't think Dignitas is going to reign supreme for a little while Yukio tries to find that role here. But I do think that if Dignitas went with someone else, maybe like a Magnus or something like that, they might have been able to get to the top quicker.
So why would you pick Magnus instead of Yukio?
I think Magnus is just a better player, honestly, and I think he's a better team player just overall. And I think Magnus could have fit in. He has that veteran leadership, and he knows how to win as well.
Yeah.
He was on Complexity, 2 top 3 finishes at the World Championship. I'm just not sure about Yukio shooting, and I felt like we saw that throughout the WSOE, where just wasn't shooting the shots like KDOP probably hits.
I think that's fair, and it did seem like at moments where you would expect a shot, maybe a double tap coming out from him, and then it's like clean up from Torment on the back end there. And I'm not saying that that's maybe a step back in play, but you can tell it's a little bit different than what it once was.
It's a slight shift in the dynamic. Yeah.
But before we dive deeper here into Team Dignitas, we have to look at the team just coming off of a win here to be able to take them on. That is going to be Triple Trouble. We just heard from Ranaki here up at the stage, feeling pretty good, trying to find a way to remain balanced between hype, but also calm enough to be able to perform here.
And we talk about balance on this team, like all three players really stepping up as well. It didn't seem like there was a weak link on the team or anyone that was quiet. Like everyone got involved in the passing game. And everyone got involved scoring as well.
Yeah, Ronicky 6 goals, Tadpole Casio 5 goals each.
Tadpole was a monster.
They all put in fairly equal shares.
And that's what you want to see from Triple Trouble. They've always been that team that it just seems like all three players are just a well-oiled machine, just cogs in the wheel, and they're doing an amazing job so far. But again, they played mouse, so we don't know.
Yeah, and that is kind of the thing as well, though. We talked about it a little bit with Garrett G, because Dignitas, they come in as I believe they're the 1 seed in this group, correct?
Yes, they're the 3 seed overall, but yeah, the 1 seed in the
1 seed in this group, which means that they played, who did they play?
They didn't play anyone, really. They played a lower-end team, but I'm not sure who it was.
Exactly.
But like a team that they're supposed to be.
That's the point. That's the point. Because when we had Garrett G up here earlier, it's like, what happened with you guys in those first couple of games where you guys were really struggling to get the ball rolling? He's like, yo, we had to really warm up because, we didn't feel like our first match really tested us all that much. I mean, Dignitas might find themselves in the same boat here a little bit.
We'll find out here as we take a closer look there. That is a face that a lot of you at home probably recognize there with Turbo Posa, a 3-time world champion. The guy is pretty much unrivaled when it comes to some of his skills with that Rocket League.
Like, he just brings so much to Dignitas when they can't find a way to score at times. He'll just be like, all right, now I'm going to go for demos, or I'm going to start setting up plays for Violent Panda. He seems to adapt so quickly in a series, and I think Turbo Posa is probably the best player in the world right now because of how he adapts mid-series and changes how Dignitas plays whenever he feels like they're kind of struggling.
He's definitely a solid player, but again, I mean, Violent Panda's the man. You put anybody on a team with Violent Panda, it's going to go well.
Yes, I felt like his World Championship, though, that was maybe his worst performance was Season 6 World Championship. Didn't look that great. I think that's why Dignitas fell to Cloud9. So he's got to bounce back a little bit from that, but normally Violent Panda is on point all the time.
Yeah, Violent Panda is a wild player. I feel like when you look at his performance level, especially as a guy trying to study the scene, getting into it here, like so many people where it's like you have all these flashy people on Team Dignitas.
It's the enablers.
And you're just like, wait a minute, what is this guy doing for the squad? And at the end of the day, you're actually like, though he seems to be kind of sitting on the back foot, if you will, of the squad, he really, at the end of the day, is such a support unit for the remainder. And I think it's very cool that here, between these two teams, though both moving into a roster change, when we describe them, we look at them as a full unit. This is not the outlier case of watch the star rise to the top and he's going to have the mechanical plays. It was 2 full-on units, and I can't help but feel like, though they both, again, are on a roster shuffle, one was such a well-oiled machine at one point, they're going to be able to rely on that experience here. So Triple Trouble really is going to have to step up.
Yeah, like this is their first big test of like, you're now in the RLCS, look, you're going to have to play teams like this week in and week out versus a team like Dignitas. But Dignitas, they are mortal now. They are not that
measuring
team.
Stick, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go play teams like Dignitas every week. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. But they are more mortal now, where they're not necessarily the best team in the world anymore. They have to replace one of the best players ever to play the game in KDOP. And we just don't know exactly where they are. They did have good results at WSOE. They beat Cloud9. They beat Cloud9 in the group stage. They just had a bad day on Sunday where they lost to G2, and that could have been a whole different story for Dignitas. So they still could be one of the best, but they're only one of the best now. They're not the best anymore.
And now it is time to figure out your guys' predictions here going into this series between Dignitas and Triple Trouble here. Chiefs, we have not led with you too much recently here, so we're going to have you lead us here.
I like Dignitas. Again, I think the experience is probably the biggest factor. Triple Trouble, yes. You blew Mouse out of the water. Can't vote against Dignitas yet, even with a roster swap.
There's no bigger Dignitas fanboy, I think, out of all these casters than myself.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put my 6-0 on the line. I'm going to say Triple Trouble is going to win this series for an upset.
Ooh.
I'm not sure what we're going to see from Dignitas. We haven't seen them yet. We saw Triple Trouble. Their offense looks pretty good. And if they can get some of those kickoff goals, their kickoffs were solid. So if they can get that going versus Dignitas, probably unlikely, but possible.
Yeah,
I think Triple Trouble, very big upset.
There's a
here.
decent chance. There's a non-zero chance for you.
There is a non-zero chance.
So happy
Triple Trouble
for that non-zero there. You know what? And this is where I'm going to go ahead and tie things up. I'm on the side of Dignitas. There's no way here. I have confidence that they're going to have a Gibbs, and I think that you and I are going to reside there at that even score at the end of this day here. Dignitas is just, you know, Yukio, even though he is new, he's a very skilled player. And for me, I just look at it as like a team that relied on being a full unit. All they need is time and give them greatness like they have within Turbo Posa and Violet Panda. It's only a matter of time before Yukio, joins himself among the best of the best here at the RLCS or the entirety of Rocket League competitive scene. we are going to go ahead and bring up our commentary team here to hear some of their thoughts. And this is, in my opinion, one of the more juicy matchups that we had today. You guys, what are some of your initial thoughts here with Dig and Triple Trouble?
I like the fact that Gibbs is putting his unbeaten record at the moment.
Very interesting. Unexpected, I would say.
I think it's a brave man right there. We've seen Gibbs, whenever he does predictions, he's either got everything right or everything wrong. So this might actually be a good omen.
Yeah.
Well, guys, go ahead and take it away here.
Yeah, I think I do agree. Like, Gibbs going with Triple Trouble here, it could be like a huge mistake, like you say. He might just really regret that. Or he could look like a genius, which I like because risks are entertaining.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I approve of Gibbs' decision. But I disagree. I think Dignitas are the team to beat today. I think that they're probably still going to be the favorite here most of the time against Triple Trouble. And I don't think a series win against Mouse is enough for me to put them above Dignitas, or at least even on Dignitas' level. I mean, Dignitas, they've had some rough results, but that's been against the very best teams in the world. They've not been losing, or they've not been losing to teams who have just been promoted into RLCS like Triple Trouble.
But the good news for Triple Trouble is it does show, even getting one prediction for them, how in the entirety of last season, Dignitas were barely ever predicted against for anything. So it shows two things. It sort of shows the decline that Dignitas' stature has had recently, but it also shows the rise of Triple Trouble and how much better they've improved. Considering they are a very recently promoted team, they're looking good. That Casio move seems to be looking very solid. And they're going to have their opportunity against the Season 5 World Champions to really put their names on the map. Let's get into this.
And it was definitely a massive win for Triple Trouble. Oh my goodness, Roniki's already got a goal. Well, sometimes when you're casting, you just get caught off guard by a goal you don't really expect. I did not think that this was just going to fly it over the top of the Dignitas defense. What on earth? I mean,
every touch Roniki's taken today seems to be top corner. And he's just going to continue to add to it.
That doesn't surprise me. The fact that Roniki shot is going top corner, that should not come as a surprise to anybody. But the fact that it's gone over the top of Turbo like that, very, very unusual. Of course, they've only been on the stage for a couple of seconds. It might take a little bit of time to get used to it. Triple Trouble have been in there for a while now. They were already on there playing against Mouse. That's a big advantage. That series win is going to give them confidence because they were losing a lot online recently, and now they've gone and destroyed one of their closest rivals. So that is massive for them. Roniki looking for a double touch, gets it, but it's gone just wide. Dignitas are on the receiving end of quite a lot of pressure to start off this game one.
Absolutely are. Violent Panda looking for the corner, wants to just try to steal some boosts. There's not really too much else there for him, but it did come out of nowhere. Poor touch from Triple Trouble, and now they find themselves on the end of a lot of pressure. But Dignitas' rotation just not allowing them to maintain aggression. Infield pass. Here's Casio off the top, and now counter-attacking opportunity. Turbo Pulsar up against Tadpole, and Turbo couldn't get the challenge.
Yeah, it looks like Turbo might have been running out of boost there. Just need a little bit more so he can catch up to that one. Here comes Roniki though, straight down the middle, looking for the flip reset. Turbo this time will get in the way of him. Look out for Roniki though, his shooting is just unbelievable. When I saw that Dignitas had lost K-Dop to Vitality, a lot of people are trying to speculate who's going to replace K-Dop, who the best player to replace K-Dop would be, and Roniki definitely came to my mind. He's such a prolific striker.
If you
unbelievable
look at their
shooting.
playstyles, him and K-Dop are very similar.
I would agree.
And K-Dop was typically a target man. There's going to be Casio for the double tap. 2-0. And Gibbs might end up being a genius if things continue as they are.
Okay, Casio, we see you. Double touch over the top off. Dignitas in defense. The Dignitas defender there is just hoping that he's going to miss. They don't really have a chance to save such a good shot, but Casio's buried it. What a finish.
I had an opportunity just to very quickly talk to Roniki before they went back on stage. First thing he said to me, Casio's nuts, right?
And I can't disagree there. Casio is definitely nuts. And he's had a lot of LAN experience, in fact. And a lot of people might not know this, but Casio, LAN champion for the Gfinity Elite Series, Season 4.
Very tough performance he has to pull out as well there. Bouncing up, here's Tadpole. Just goes over the top of him. Casio is now demoed. But good offensive pressure coming out Dignitas, forcing the save from Tadpole. They realize the situation they're in. They already know that 2-goal lead is going to be very hard to come back from. And they've got to get that pressure on.
And, we were talking about Dignitas in the desk there and how much support role Violent Panda provides for that team. You look at the third for Triple Trouble, Tadpole here. He's trying to do the exact same thing, fill the gaps. He knows he's playing with two incredibly good strikers at the ball. offensive powerhouses. If he can just fill the spaces, make sure to be there for the saves and get an assist now and then, maybe that's all they need. But Violent Panda's gone over the top of him and one more. Makes it 1 goal for Dignitas. You know, support players sometimes hard carry another time. This time he carries the ball in by himself.
Shout out to Torment for that one. Violent Panda just doing so well, and sometimes you need that spark in order to try and turn it around for yourself. They got 2 minutes, 9 seconds to find one more goal. Tadpole, I think he got hold of the boost. Might not matter. Turbo already up there. And there's going to be the clear from Casio. He's got Tadpole as an option. Down to the upper end of the pitch. Yukio keeping the pressure on, however. It's going to be a little bit of chaos. So if these teams try and sort out their rotation, I doubt there's going to be too much available.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much is going to happen here for Triple Trouble. They might have to just back off and see if they can attack again from deep in their own half. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Ronicky getting behind that clear. Chooses to try and launch it into a position he could chase forward towards. Got to be careful doing that against Dignitas, though. Hard clear is often going to be a safer option. But wait a minute, that's just gone in for Tadpole. Nobody back for Dignitas again. And all 3 members of Triple Trouble get on the scoreboard. Fantastic pass by Tadpole to himself off the sidewall to set that one up.
And that's 2 goals Triple Trouble have scored from their own side of the field against Dignitas. At that point, you've got to be saying, it seems like the defensive line doesn't quite know where it needs to be at the moment. It's not at that perfect spot where you can keep pressure on but not overcommit. We've seen 2 different examples now. One where it was too far forward and one where it just wasn't quick enough.
This could be huge. Not just for Triple Trouble, but for Dignitas. Like, their placement in the Rocket League food chain is being questioned now because they're losing not only to teams that they've considered their equals and their peers for long times, but now Triple Trouble are also entering the fray. So many teams coming up and really challenging not just some of the best players in the world, but the best team to have played. Roster change or not, Yukio is definitely a fantastic addition, and they're just not able to do what they want to do at the moment.
Pass over to Violent Panda, cut out. Ronki very aware of what was coming towards him. Yukio is all by himself at the moment. This might end up being dangerous. Dangerous or not, it's still a 2-goal lead for Triple Trouble. And they know the defense has got to prioritize right now. Once again, the pass attempted. Once again, Ronaki is very privy to it. Dignitas need to start sort of maybe make these passing options a little bit less obvious because Triple Trouble, they can read them. And that's going to be another double tap. Casio, you feeling okay, buddy?
It's another double touch from Casio. This one from a really tight angle as well. He's had to chase this one across the top of the box, make it a triple at the far post. In or not, doesn't matter. 4-1. Triple Trouble are making Dignitas look second best by a huge margin right now.
This is how you announce yourself to the world. Casio, a player for Method last season, couldn't quite make it into the RLCS. And now he's playing for Triple Trouble, and he is dismantling Dignitas in game 1.
Yeah, we talked about Ronicky and his offensive press, but Casio going for a third one. If he put in 3 double touches, he's still in offense here. Either way, this is going to be a crushing win for Triple Trouble, but they're not done. They want one more for the road. Doesn't look like they're going to get it. They'll have to settle for 4. I think they were going to be quite happy with 4, though, against the former world champions, Dignitas. They need to try again. They've taken a bit too long to warm up here to the stage environment. Triple Trouble are on fire.
Well, that is the gauntlet being thrown down by Triple Trouble. And these guys, they need to figure out a way to respond. As you mentioned, the questions are now being brought up about where Dignitas stand. Now, you did mention at some point there about what Casio does when they brought him in. And I think that's a brilliant thing to bring up because we look at this and Casio was coming in for speed. Now, speed, typically kind of a utility player for that team. His entire job was, pretty much stay in your opponent's way, let the rotation work around you. It was like 2 different rotations. There was Speed's rotation, and then there was everyone else on his team. But now that Speed's not there, you don't have that utility, and you're bringing in a more offensive player, Tadpole's got to cover that. And it's a lot of pressure and responsibility on him, but he's doing a phenomenal job of making sure that rotation holds strong.
They're looking confident as well. This is really, really nice to see. A young team, they're stepping up against names like Turbo Pulse and Violent Panda, Yukio, these guys that are looked up to by almost the entire Rocket League community. And Triple Trouble are going up against them, and they're playing confidently, looking confident. And they definitely have a lot of belief in what they can do. And why wouldn't you when you'd be able to do things like this? 2 double touches against Dignitas in game 1 for Casio. I wonder how many he's going to get this game. Dignitas will start off with a little bit of pressure of their own, though.
Maybe drop straight down. Yukio looking for the backboard. It should be covered, and it is by Casio. Straight over to Tadpole. What a quick transition this is. And Turbopulse, he has to very awkwardly tap that one to the side, but he's got his teammates back into the rotation. But yes, that is the danger, and I think Dignitas are just going to slowly gauge that. Okay, these guys can get out of defense, and they can get out quickly. We can't afford to overcommit because we will be caught.
This pass from Turbo, Yukio is there. It's just a soft shot, though. Ronicky is easily going to save that one. So far, Triple Trouble doing a good job not sending too many players forward at one ball. At the same time, backing each other up when they do want to challenge. Yukio's just fired another shot over the bar. Not the most accurate shooting by the new member of Team Dignitas. Game 2 so far.
I think Yukio just needs to sit back a little bit when he's the passing player, or just get the ball a little bit further forward. Because so far, I haven't seen an opportunity to really run onto the shot. It's always straight in front of him, and it's very hard to shoot from that sort of angle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. By stepping forward there as Yukio, he makes it harder for somebody to pass to him. You know, that's why K-Dot was so good on this Dignitas roster before he left to join Vitality. He was scoring so many goals because the passes were there for him. They're there for him because he's so easy to pass to. He always put himself in the sweet spot, not too far away from the ball, that he can get there in time, but also close enough that he can, or not too close rather, that the ball's going to get stuck over his head and he can't jump up and actually hit the shot in the first place.
Still 0-0. Coming towards the end of the second minute of play down. Tadpole, his touch is not actually too great. It's straight up to Yukio. That shot is right down the middle. He would want to do more with that next time. Violent Panda to Turbo. Turbo drops it down to Panda. And it's not a shot on target. That was a great chance for Dignitas. Well worked. But again, the finishing touch just not quite there.
It looks like, you know, the absence of a K-Dot to put these shots in, definitely hurting Dignitas. They're still holding their own in defense, just about, but Tadpole, Casio piling on the pressure. It's going to be Casio with a goal. And Triple Trouble are back in front. It's a nightmare for Dig on the goal line.
Yeah, the first and only opportunity Triple Trouble have had this game. And it's just another shot out of nowhere. Dignitas put so many players forward that they couldn't rotate back. But I want to point this out again, it all came from a Casio shot that was again towards the crossbar. Even if it doesn't go in first time, it's going to bounce nicely for you, and it's going to be so awkward to defend.
On the other hand of the field, we've got the shot from Dig just clattering the post, not even close to going in. And they just have to say goodbye to another offensive play. Yukio's just touched this away from Turbo. It's this disorganization in the Dignitas half. And I think they're certainly going to be a little bit shaken by how well Triple Trouble are playing right now. Still got a lot of time left to figure out their own problems, but with how well Triple Trouble are playing, it's not going to be an easy team to reverse sweep. They don't want to be in that position at all.
Ronicky for the backboard. Going to be a good clear though from Yukio. Violent Panda has plenty of time to try and latch onto this. Has he got an option? He chooses himself for the time being. Turbo is over in support, and Turbo is too close to be able to react to that.
There's just no connection there for Dignitas. Panda wants to lift it back post. Turbo wants it dropped down near post. It's either a lack of communication or
time, because by then Triple Trouble were back.
Yeah, they do need to just hurry up a little bit sometimes. That's a great save by Casio as Yukio was lurking. And look at this from Tadpole. He's just going to slide underneath it. And no one can dunk it in. That's unreal from Triple Trouble. What a pass out from Casio. Tadpole doesn't need to do much. Didn't even change direction there. I feel like he might have just driven right onto this.
I think he just drove straight forward and went, you know what? This is fine. This is working.
This'll do. I mean, if it doesn't, then at least it looked cool.
I'm still trying to figure out what Tadpole was doing so far down the field.
I think he just landed there from a failed aerial challenge or something. I mean, that's one of the best places to pass or hit passing plays in Rocket Leagues, when your teammates just upfield after a failed 50-50, after they get beat in the air. These things are going to happen. Now we see more Triple Trouble players upfield from missing the 50-50, and they've stayed up and they made it work. All right, these passes are going to keep working for Triple Trouble because they're just using the opportunities that they're presented with.
Yeah, so much space as well for Tadpole. You'd expect something like that to be challenged. Absolutely no one until the very final moment, at which point you are putting yourself, just all your faith into one challenge and whether or not that could go against you. 3-0. Triple Trouble. I mean, if you took away the names right now, and this is going to sound horrible, but I did say, if you took away the names, you would not think this is Dignitas playing.
No, not at all. You would never think that this Dig. It's not even their own fault entirely. Like, being made to look bad because Triple Trouble are putting together some really good solo plays and some even better passing plays at times. 3-0. Dignitas need a goal right now, or this one is going to be over. Yukio gets shot down to the near post. I believe Casio. And you know, with the clock hitting 40 seconds, it's looking like it might be over in game 2 already. 3-goal difference. Dignitas held to 0. This is just unbelievable.
And the difference maker so far has been shooting accuracy. I feel like I'd be pretty right in saying that both these teams have had roughly the same amount of chances, but Triple Trouble making every single one stick.
Yeah, Dignitas have definitely had their fair share. You know, I've not been counting, but they have missed quite a few of them. Roniki almost, he put that in target as well. Man can't miss today. This will be game 2 to Triple Trouble. They're on 3 match points now. Dignitas really struggling here. This format is not going to be very forgiving to them. If they do drop down to the loser bracket after this game, they'll be facing elimination if they lose one more game. The double elimination group. It's winners finals. The winner of this does move on. The loser of this is going to be in a pretty awkward situation.
And there's not really too much communication from Dignitas. They need to change something here. You can't just change things telepathically. You've got to speak to one another. You've got to get this sorted. But every single... I mean, that one was a little bit too... I know you want to aim crossbar down every single time. Tadpole was a little bit
too close to the crossbar that time, maybe.
But, you know, you still had someone up in support. But it's things like this that we need to be looking towards.
That's a great save by Casio. I mean, he's cleared his lines, and not only that, but hit it towards Tadpole, who's just downfield recovering. And it happens again. Tadpole lands upfield. Casio hits it towards him. And then Tadpole's just ran it in with 0 boost. Maybe a little bit fortunate, but still making the most out of what he had. They're taking their opportunities. Dignitas, on the other hand, are not. They're hitting the post. They're going too slow to the ball sometimes. Their shots are just not anywhere near as accurate as you'd expect, or at least as they used to be when K-Dot was in the roster, scoring all the goals for them.
The big problem as well is I'm seeing a lot of these shots, they're quite low. A lot of shots are very low, which is actually feeding into these clears and these transition goals that we're seeing from Triple Trouble. Because whenever you put it low, it means it can just be half-volleyed by a defender straight towards, say, a Tadpole in the midfield who can then take it to wherever he wants to.
I'm wanting to see some more patience from Dignitas, to be honest. They needed to wait 1 or 2 more touches before making the shot happen. Because if they fire on a defended net, we've seen how good Triple Trouble are at making a save and completely turning it around on you. Oh my goodness, that's just gone in for Turbo. Did he get a touch on this? Or
There was a touch, but...
There was actually a touch from Turbo.
Oh.
Barely. And you know, he did accelerate this ball. He's made it very difficult for Casio there by shooting low. Casio's coming off the wall to try and get between this one and his goal. He just couldn't get low enough. So well played by Turbo. That was basically what Triple Trouble were doing last game. They're hitting the ball downfield towards their teammates who happened to be there as they're rotating back. This time, Dignitas get the goal.
Yukio looking to follow this one. Maybe Tadpole with the clear. Opportunity to try and put something together. You can already see Casio trying to split himself forward, but instead Turbo already covering the midfield. Dignitas looking for that second one. You know they're going to try and just completely reverse the momentum in this game, because they really have to. Something that we saw earlier on when we saw Tainted Minds take on NRG. You've got to make this third game, or at least one of these games, so lopsided that it starts to just, you know, tilt your opponents a little bit, make them think that maybe they might be a little bit outclassed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the best way to turn this series around is not just a win here for Dig, but a crushing win. If they can maybe get 3 or 4 goals and really frustrate Triple Trouble in the process, that could be what they need to get this young team, this is, you know, perhaps an experienced team, to start to doubt themselves. These confident faces that we're seeing between games at the moment might change something quite different. I mean, you wouldn't worry too much about that right now. They're completely stuck in defense. Everybody piling up in one spot. Looks like Yukio's very low on boost. The shot coming in is going to get saved by Yukio, but not easily. Triple Trouble are not done yet, though. More pressure. Casio to the crossbar to himself. Yukio picked up some boost, and this time will get in the way of it. And wait a minute, he's gone on the counter-attack, and he's going to score this himself. Surely Yukio all the way. As soon as he managed to get a piece of boost in defense, he's able to use it, get all the way up the field. Careless by Triple Trouble, though.
Yeah, very careless. Triple Trouble just got a little bit frustrated at how well Dignitas were defending for such a long time. And that's just a little bit of that inexperience you were talking about. There was only a 1-goal lead. And just by getting that little bit careless, you've now doubled your problems.
Oh, no way. That's the no-goal rebound. Ronicky is going to get the credit. There's this assist Panda with a pretty sick, actually, own goal. That is a very nice finish, I must say. Maybe read of the day. Unfortunately, not in the right goal.
And the smile is back on Turbo.
I mean, it's good to see Turbo smiling about this. He's been pretty upset about some of the other things that have been going wrong for Dignitas recently, but
He is a very emotional player. Like, given like a few days outside of it, he's obviously very relaxed about it all. But Turbo in-game is one of the more emotional players we've got in the scene.
absolutely. And that's why we love him. He's not afraid to wear his heart in his sleeve. Sapo gets a good clear here. Cassio going to chase it down. He's got no boost, though. He's going to have to be careful here not to overextend. Apple's still running interference. Roniki's there. That's the save on the goal line for Turbo, but awkward times again for Dignitas. You know, I've got to give credit to Triple Trouble. They're making this so hard for Dignitas to get any wins on the board today. Already taken 2 games off them, and this one looks like it might go all the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see an overtime here. It's actually Dignitas. We're backing off and looking nervous.
Far corner, Yukio will be tasked with it. Done pretty well so far. Gets another block as well, and that's so crucial after Turbo is taken out of the game. Yukio, stalwart as his team required him. It's a little bit lax though. Yukio, once again, called into action. Turbo Pulsar tries to clear, just didn't quite settle down for him. And this is awkward right now from Dignitas. They're letting players move forwards.
The backboard's wide open this
that's
entire
very far
time.
forwards. That's going to get them caught.
Wow.
And Triple Trouble, they did not learn from their earlier on mistake. Ronicky knew. As soon as this came over to him, that he was too far forwards.
I'm not sure if Tadpole is planning an infield pass here. He's tried to pull it off. It looked like a position where the backboard would have clearly been the option. I'm not sure why, or if it was just a boost problem or a positioning problem, but Triple Trouble had the entire backboard at their disposal there. With how many double touches Cassio's been scoring today and how accurate their shooting's been, you'd expect them to go for that instead of shooting, or a low pass. It's much more easy to intercept when you've got 3 players on the ground like Dignitas did. Still 2 goals in
They
it.
were just trying to be smarter than they needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, infield passes work, but they usually work when the other team's got someone sitting on the back wall. They've got someone else sitting in the goal, nobody ready to move forward and attack the ball. The pass wasn't well executed, but in the first place, I don't think it was a good idea to even go for.
1 minute remaining. Violent Panda trying to put in that third. Don't be quite comfortable just yet, but they'll be happy with the 2-goal lead. Yukio struggling a little bit. Turbo's taken out. And Ronicky can turn it in. 1-goal game. And I would love to see who took out Turbo.
Well, I'll tell you, if that's Tadpole making a play on the corner and Ronicky making a shot, it must be Cassio off the ball, taking out the goalie. And the Dignitas have been so stationary in goal. They've been doing this for the last, I'd say, at least 2 minutes. As soon as they got their 3rd goal, they've been sitting basically with 3 players on the goal line, just queuing up for saves. That leaves them very, very vulnerable to demolish plays. It leaves them very, very susceptible to backboard hits. Are Triple Trouble going to continue to punish them? They need 1 more goal to really make this interesting and difficult for Dignitas in the final 30 seconds. Dig still in the lead by 1 for the time being.
30 seconds now. Tadpole clears long. Cassio is going to be chasing this down. He's got Turbo and Panda. And Panda's lofted shot is going to be so useful. Here's Turbo. Puts it down to try and secure this game, but it's not quite there. Yukio putting it up high. Triple Trouble have got to go the entire length of the pitch if they want to try and get this in. And this is better from Dignitas. This is what you'd expect to see from them. Control the pace of the game towards the last few moments.
Oh, hang on, though. It's a little bit awkward now. Ronicky might be able to get a chance here. It's actually a pre-jump by Tadpole. I think if he'd stayed on the ground, he might have had this. Dignitas moving up here. They're defending much higher up the field. And that is going to give them so many more chances to save a ball, to make an interception, to make a tackle when they're not defending on their own goal line. At the absolute last possible minute and second. Love what I'm seeing from the end there from Dignitas.
Yes, I think the last
much more
minute
aggressive
was much better than the 2 minutes that preceded it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're actually trying to make plays. They're not just letting Triple Trouble set up in the way that whatever they want to do. Hey, it was pretty close to 1 goal in it. Triple Trouble are really making Dignitas work for this one. Can the former world champs bring this back, though?
Now, the big worry for me here is that there was quite a few positional mistakes that we saw from Triple Trouble. And we kind of saw the same thing earlier on when we saw NRG reverse sweep Tainted Minds. This is the really crucial match that we're about to see from Triple Trouble, because Tainted Minds, they know what they did wrong. They didn't go back to, the game 1 and 2 strategy. They abandoned, plan A in resorting to plan B before not really figuring out if there was actually a problem there. I would like Triple Trouble to not change anything. You had a bad game. You made a couple of mistakes. Go back to plan A.
Yeah, they just need to calm down a little bit. I think they got a little bit excited here. And also when they went down, they started going so much more direct. There's so many hard clears, from their defense all the way to Dignitas' end. We didn't see these long shots. We didn't see these. Yeah, if they had Tadpole downfield, maybe they have somebody to pass to. But it's definitely a difference in, I would say, just decision-making from Triple Trouble. When they're behind, they look like they're going a lot more direct, taking a lot more long shots. When they're ahead, they're waiting till the net's wide open. They're just shooting open nets. I mean, I'm calling some of these open nets are not the easiest open nets to score, but when you've got the mechanics that Cassio does, when you're as good at shooting as Ronicky is, they may as well be open. And there's one goal for Cassio. Bottom corner is open. And that's where he puts it.
And this is exactly what we saw from Triple Trouble against Mouse. Straight from the kickoff, finding their chance, and Cassio again, the benefactor of a fantastic kickoff.
Yeah, he's done well there. There's still quite a lot to do. Dignitas had some pretty large gaps in their defense after that kickoff. We're crediting Triple Trouble, but I think I've got to just take a look at this and think, what can we do to not have a free shot on net, completely uncontested, completely unsaved? Wow. Now the Panda 50-50 gets another one down low. What 1-2 play with Turbo Pulsat. This is a passing plays you come to expect from Dignitas over the years.
I feel like there's a bit of a mistake there, though, from Ronicky to play that one to the side. He should have taken it with him up to his own backboard, because he was completely by himself against two different Dignitas players. He needed to try and buy some time for his team.
Absolutely.
Didn't do that, and then to get caught by a fantastic mechanical play by Violent Panda. So now 1-1, barely even half a minute into this. There's another passing play. This is what we want to see from Dignitas. The passes are good. The finish is what we want to see change. We want to see it be a little bit sharper.
You need to see these shots going under the crossbar from Yukio in particular. Ronicky with a shot blocked by Turbo. These fast passes from Triple Trouble are looking pretty clean, though, I must say. Not always going to be that easy to save. Violent Panda puts it over the bar. Turbo is interfering in the goal line. Tadpole looking for a goalie. Finds him. Cassio now trying to get it middle. Violent Panda in the perfect place there. That could have been very, very awkward for Dignitas. Another bump off the ball by Tadpole. Dig just want to collect this ball, but they're not being allowed to do so right now.
Bounces up. Tadpole over to Ronicky. Just a car's length away from getting that one. Lovely flick from Yukio. That's going to set up his team to start moving forward. Past another one. Ronicky, he's going to be met immediately by Turbo Pulsar, and Violent Panda can wait for his opportunity, but it's a lovely clear by Cassio down to the midfield. Dignitas have to restart. Yukio goes off the wall. I think his passing choice to go to Violent Panda was cut off, but there's a shot. Cassio can't get there, and Turbo finds the far side.
Great placement by Turbo. I wonder, was there some interference here on the goal line, as it looks like Triple Trouble did have someone there. They just weren't ready for a low shot from Turbo. It makes me think that there is some shenanigans there by the rotating Dignitas players. They come across the box. They're getting sick and tired of Triple Trouble bumping them as they're trying to make saves in return the favor. I mean, they absolutely should. It's such a powerful strategy. Take goalkeepers out of the game completely. Even just to get somebody to jump over an attempted demo is always helpful. The inside of the post comes to the rescue here for Triple Trouble, or does it? It sends it straight back towards Dignitas.
Cassio looking for Tadpole, puts it on. Tadpole shooting. I didn't come into this expecting him to be a fantastic shooter compared to his two teammates, but he's making a lot of it stick. Violent Panda, great challenge from him. Cassio forced to try and clear, but Turbo Pulsar keeps it up, and there's a possibility for Yukio to move forward, and he's got to take it, but instead, Ronicky keeps the pressure. But I gotta say, Dignitas, I was complaining about that defensive line previously. It looks like they're finally starting to settle where it's supposed to be. Triple Trouble finding it much more difficult to clear their lines.
Yeah, Triple Trouble are having to make plays earlier. They're having to make plays while they're in their own half, just to take the first challenge from Dignitas out of the play. And that's giving the other players in Dignitas time to reposition, to intercept, to start putting together their own passes and actually get their hands on the ball. They're not getting boxed in because they've started moving up much further, closer to Triple Trouble's half. Challenging so much earlier. This is why Dignitas used to be such a hard team to play. They just pressured you insanely up the field, and Turbo's just scored this inside Triple Trouble's box in front of 3 Triple Trouble players because they're playing so much further up the field right now. I love it from Dignitas. This looking like the NRG Tainted Mind series, Shogun.
Yes, absolutely is. Dignitas, I do like what they're doing. They held it into the midfield for a little while, and they slowly creep that third player forward to the point that they can get within shooting range. They've done that here. Yukio might just drop that one straight in. But it's one of those goals that doesn't look spectacular when you see it live. There's Violent Panda looking for the far side.
What placement.
But Dignitas just picking away at the lock. That's all they need to do, and we were asking for a blowout win. I think one more goal, we can call this a blowout win. Dignitas getting all of the momentum their way for a potential Game 5.
Yeah, this is exactly what Dignitas needed. Now Triple Trouble is starting to look shaky. It didn't really take much of a change from Triple Trouble for this to occur. It was mostly just Dignitas starting to play more aggressively, actually make their passes work. And not only that, but they're finishing their shots. That's the biggest difference for me. Tadpole might have just scored across the field, though. Yukio's way out of position, and that's the goal for Tadpole. And the wide view here is actually the perfect angle for us to see what happened here. Tadpole first to the ball, good read off the back wall. Third man for Dig, moving in. When nobody's rotating back, that's got to be a misplay when you're ahead by 3. No need to make that risk.
It bounced. I'm less impressed.
Oh, it bounced before the line?
It bounced before it went in.
We're not clapping for those today?
No, not anymore. I've got higher standards than that, Johnny.
Yeah, the ghost goal was pretty lucky. I mean, impressive. 2 goals in and out. Dig still in front. Going to tie up the series. Triple Trouble with 1 goal. Make it a bit more interesting, because with their kickoff strats, like we saw earlier, scoring so many goals quickly after kickoffs, all they need to do is get 1 more in with 10 or 15 seconds left, and that's a winnable game.
Great block. Roniki. And try and open up some space for his teammates to move forward. Cassio tried to do something, but just held on to challenges being won more and more often by Dignitas. Yukio up the wall, 40 seconds left. Cassio and Tadpole trying to find something to put together, but look at how deep Dignitas are playing when they're off the ball. It leaves very few options if you want to try and go long, if you want to try and use that backboard. With where Violent Panda was sitting, he wasn't committed to anything. If you try and pass over, he could probably cover that as well.
Yeah, let's see if Dignitas can close out this game reactively. Seems like they're dead set on playing off Triple Trouble's moves right now. And it's working so far because they're all spacing out. They're making it very difficult for Triple Trouble to find space between them. And there is going to be another goal for Yukio. Triple Trouble trying to move up here in the hunt for that elusive 3rd goal. And in doing so, they have conceded a goal which is relatively meaningless given the context of the game. 5 seconds, 6 seconds left. They're probably not going to be making this win. But Dignitas, 2 wins in a row. Comfortable win in Game 4. Was it just a momentary scare? Or are Triple Trouble going to be able to come back here and really make one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in recent times?
Well, if it was just a momentary scare, if it was a situation like Dignitas said earlier on about them just needing a second or 2 to warm up, we could find out later on by asking them on the desk. But before we even get to that stage, they've got to win this match. And both these teams 1 game away. Dignitas looking much better, looking like the Dignitas that we expect to see. Overwhelming pressure in Game 4, and Triple Trouble, well, you can have that passing option downfield. Does not matter if the ball, after you hit it, doesn't get 2 feet away before it gets hit again.
Yeah, it's just great passing from Dignitas this game. Compared to all the other games that we've seen, this was by far the best that we've seen from them in terms of team play. And not only that, but the shots they're hitting are accurate and powerful. The 2 things that they've been lacking so far today. Turbo Pulsing getting it past Cassio. See Violent Panda later on hitting one behind the defender. They can keep on making these shots count. This is not going to be easy for Triple Trouble at all. We all knew it was going to be a difficult series for them, or at least we expected so. This is hard to call. Triple Trouble popped off so hard at the start of the series. Now Dignitas are clawing back like the champions should. It's all smiles for Yukio. That's important to see because they weren't all smiles when they bombed out of the last LAN tournament recently. So far, so good though in the comeback trail.
Emotional team.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got our hands on Dignitas. When it's going well, it's going well. When it's not, they sort of struggle to pull it back together. But I tell you what, To go against that, they are pulling this back together very well. We're onto Champions Field. We're one game away. The loser of this drops down to a lower bracket, and there's a shot off the post. And Dignitas will be happy to see that one go away. Here's Yukio off the backboard from him. And it's a little bit of a fiery start, but we've got no goals to show for it.
Well, I'll tell you, the one player that's yet to get his shooting percentage up is Yukio. Turbo had some well-placed shots last game. Valiant Panda had probably the best shot of the match, hitting it behind the goalie. But Yukio's not really been hitting the target with his shots. He's high, sometimes wide, sometimes both. He needs to start hitting the target if he wants to fill K-Dop's shoes completely.
Oh, okay. Well, that is going to be exactly as you were asking for, Johnny.
That'll just about do it.
What a
That'll
shot.
just about do it.
Straight up, he knew what he wanted. He knew where he was placing it.
I like this. This is definitely a pretty good start in terms of filling K-Dop's shoes. I think we've like, we've got our foot half in, maybe.
Yeah, I think what
Halfway.
that is he was listening, and players, like I've noticed, Rocket League players don't play well for money. They don't play well for the honor. They play out of spite sometimes, just to prove someone wrong.
I mean, I didn't say that he wasn't going to shoot well today. He had a couple of, he has scored a couple of goals so far today, but that was a very clean shot. He's quick as well. He did not waste much time getting up to it. I think it's just looking so confident. Will there be a response from Triple Trouble though?
Certainly have struggled to put too much forward. Tadpole over to Rodaki, and that is a phenomenal save from Violent Panda. Very brave to come chasing out for that one. Triple Trouble's player just made a little bit too close towards the Dignitas net. Did allow Violent Panda to move himself forward.
It's a great read by Panda though. He moved off the goal line just fast enough to make himself big in front of the ball, just like Roniki's done there. He's getting in front of the ball, making his cars difficult as possible to get by. You know, Panda might have actually made it impossible to get by his car there because he didn't even pre-jump over the ball, as a lot of players would have done in that position. 1-0 Dignitas still. Turbo's up for this. He's going to send it towards the center, but Tadpole is going to be there. Triple Trouble, they look desperate. They look like they might just be wasting a bit of possession here and there in the search, in the hunt for this equalizer. Whereas Dignitas are in fact giving them quite a lot of space in the midfield to work with right now. They don't need to be panicking as much as they are.
Yeah, the backboard's not an option for Triple Trouble, but the passing plays definitely are, as long as you can develop it deep enough inside the field. Utilize a bit of whip. Casio puts it straight down. It's too obvious now. Triple Trouble have gone to that well a little bit too often. And Dignitas are all over it. Turbo's touch. He's got zero boost, can't follow up. That's going to be a little bit better, utilizing the whip, and that was a slightly better shot there for Yukio. Very smart friend. Wow. Panda, I didn't think that one was going in, but Panda definitely did.
It was very close. Roniki was the shooter, so you'd expect it to be going top corner every time. Yeah, Triple Trouble, they're looking for that infield pass over and over again. They're looking for those ground passes, and Dignitas are starting to read them a lot better than they were earlier in the series. Where are the aerial plays? Where are the double touches that we saw in game one? Where's the backboard hits? I mean, Dignitas are sitting so grounded right now. The backboard is wide open for the hard clear. I think that's the best avenue of attack for Triple Trouble right now. Will they figure that out? Will they be able to make it work? It's not like any backboard hit's going to work against Dig. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be fast. It's going to be at the right time. I think that's probably the best option for them right now, Shogun.
Casio, Tadpole forced to leave. Minute and a half left before Dignitas complete their reverse sweep. Panda for the shot. That's it. Oh, Panda could very well have sealed the warrant to put Triple Trouble down into the lower bracket.
You know, Roniki might have been able to get to that ball if he wasn't getting bumped into his own net. As the play was developing, he just could not quite get there in time. He turns around in no man's land, ends up just hitting it into his own net even further. And Triple Trouble with another chance off the kickoff. Tadpole, ceiling shot saved by Turbo. It's desperate times now for Triple Trouble. They looked so good earlier, but it's all for naught if they can't get the win here. We're still, of course, expecting them to qualify through lowers, but they would absolutely love to upset former world champs.
They would definitely look at this as an opportunity missed if they can't turn this one around. Roniki, he's got options downfield. He's gone as far as he possibly can. I feel like that one had to be a little bit close towards the floor if he wanted to try and find a teammate. Pressure is all on. Casio, once again, can't get it past. Violent Panda is refusing to jump early, just allowing his opponents to make their moves and then He covers whatever that choice was. 30 seconds remaining. Triple Trouble trying to put something together. But every single choice they make is being matched.
Yeah, Trouble they're creating chances. They're trying their best here, but you gotta remember they are against Dignitas. Dignitas who were struggling earlier, but now they're looking very organized, very fast. They're reading all the passing plays. You can't really fault Triple Trouble too much for this final minute here. It's not easy to beat Dig from this position when they're playing well. They definitely are. They will be completing the reverse sweep here, barring a miracle from Triple Trouble. Clock's almost at 0 and they need 2 goals. That's going to be it, Shogun. Another reverse sweep. We saw NRG overtaking Mines earlier today, and now Dignitas over Triple Trouble. Underdogs just couldn't get the job done.
And it wasn't down to a huge amount of mechanical plays from Dignitas. They just went almost military discipline on their rotation. They knew exactly where everyone was supposed to be. It's the strongest I've seen their rotation since this team reformed. And if they can play more like that in the future and slowly add the mechanicals, slowly add the more team play aspects that we saw in the previous iteration of Dignitas, it's going to be a very dangerous squad indeed. But Triple Trouble, they know the opportunity that just passed them by.
Yeah, they were continuing the same strategy over and over again, and I don't blame them because it's probably working for them in most of their games and most of their series they play against their regular competition. But Dignitas figured out that infield pass was what they were trying to make happen, and they intercepted, saved over and over again. I'm a bit worried for Dig though, because their defense at times looks a bit low. If you're up against a team like Cloud9, who are not scared of going into the air with speed and looking for all kinds of stylish plays, is that going to work? I don't know if that's going to be as effective. Are Dignitas ready to elevate, to match them in that area of the field as well?
Well, you've got our opinions, you've got our thoughts on this one, but it's now time to hear the thoughts of our desk.
Thank you very much, guys. As we just conclude that reverse sweep coming up from Team Dignitas, and Gibbs, you were this close to being the genius.
Like, I felt like I had a 30% chance to be genius.
That's
I
worth
wanted
it.
to take it. Just didn't pay off this time.
Yep, and all I got to say is scoreboard.
Yeah.
All right. No.
Does that tie you? Or?
Yeah, it ties us. It's not
gotta
like we're
give it to
keeping
the
track or
rookie.
anything.
Hey man, tied for second. I'll take it.
No, but on a serious note here, we talked about that both of these rosters have a new member into it, right? And that both of them had a reasonable amount of time to be able to work on to that new member and come into light. And it was a pretty competitive series. So, what are the things that, I guess, kind of made this go the way that we ended up seeing it go in favor of Team Dignitas here? And how does that impact, again, those new players?
So I feel like games 1 and 2, like Triple Trouble, just not a lot of mistakes. It just seemed like
party.
quality touch after quality touch, and Dignitas, a couple of mistakes here or there, but then eventually that pressure from Dignitas, those team plays in game number 4, where it was Turbo and Violent Panda, the show of the old Dignitas, where they just kept scoring goal after goal after goal. Violent Panda had a few solo plays, and then I love in game 5, the big-time Yukio shot in that top left corner was what we want to see from him after talking about K-Dop all the time being one of the best shooters.
Yeah.
And Yukio's like, hold on, like I can do this too. So
And talking
well done by
about
them.
a little bit about Violent Panda, going to be joining us up here, and welcome. And so I've got to ask, from your perspective there, were you ever worried? Was it cool, calm, and collected the entire time? Or, if things did get wild, when did you guys start worrying, I guess, a bit there?
Nah, we were a bit nervous the first 2 games, of course. You could see that in our gameplay. But we just always keep it cool. And it worked out this time as well. So.
Compared to some of your other opponents, how do you think Triple Trouble is faring so far in terms of maybe the teams you play in scrims in Europe? Like, how does Triple Trouble kind of match up against everyone else in Europe right now, in your mind?
In scrims, I mean, it's just scrims, not a tournament. But they're all right, not that great. TSM is the team to look for in Europe in scrims, so yeah, we'll see.
So what did you guys, after WSOE, you go back home and you take a few weeks to yourself before DreamHack comes out. What was the one thing that you guys really wanted to work on coming here into this event?
I mean, like, Yukio is just getting used to us. We're getting used to Yukio. It's still happening, takes some time.
Process.
But it was... it wasn't that long that Yukio joined us yet for WSOE, so we'll see how it goes now in DreamHack.
Can you maybe shed just a little bit of light here? You don't have to go too far into it on, when you integrate a new player into this roster, right? You have your play style and the new guy coming in. How much of that is you guys adapting to him and him adapting to you? Do you feel like it's a 50-50 or maybe he bends over a little bit more just because he is, again, 33% of the squad? What is it for you guys?
I mean, it's hard to fill K-Dop's shoes for him, but yeah, it's like 50-50. We have to get used to him as well, and he has to get used to us, so it's the same.
Well, you guys have been picking up traction, and I'm pretty confident you guys will be able to figure it out here. We are going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back here, again, going to further our way here through DreamHack Leipzig and the DreamHack Pro Circuit.